Welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have Descendants, Zombies, Worlds Collide Concert Special. Another long title. This is from 2026. It's an hour and 2 minutes long. It basically takes a number of segments from the tour that they did with these two series. It's a spin-off. Okay, just to understand, Descendants and Zombies are two different movie franchises that are Disney based, that are on the Disney Channel or Disney XD or whatever the Disney network stuff is on cable, as well as Disney Plus. Now, Descendants has to do with the children of the princesses and the villains and everybody else that you know from all the classic Disney films. This is just for those who don't really know. Most of you realize this. Zombies is really just a reality in which zombies are part of the normal culture, and they're kind of controlled. They have normal human brains and communications, but they're still outcasts, and they try to fit in with the normal humans. And turns out, though, there's not a whole lot of normal humans in that neighborhood. It turns out there's werewolves and there's aliens and eventually vampires. So there's all sorts of stuff going on. But so you get a lot of just Disney-fied versions of lots of monsters and aliens and science fiction, fantasy type creatures mixed with the truly Disney fantasy characters. Well, the next generation, let's just say. So what they decided to do is just slam them all together because they do really pretty much have a common fan base, and that is tweens and sometimes younger kids who just love the colorful shows and the music that comes with it. There's lots of singing and dancing and expressing your feelings through big dance kind of things that happen where everybody's choreographed. And so yeah, it's a big fun thing. I've actually seen all the movies now because of my series here, so I know exactly who I'm talking about. Sort of. Eventually a lot of I'm an old man, and so a bunch of teenagers eventually just look alike, and adults that look like teenagers. So either way, what you get here is it's not a full concert kind of thing, not like the 3.5 hour thing I did yesterday with Taylor Swift. This is kind of, they show a number of different songs, or at least a good portion of certain songs, where they recreate those songs from the movies. And there's also some cross-ups, some mashups between the characters singing songs from either one of the series, or something completely new. I can't really tell. I don't remember all the songs. So, but there are some that I did recognize, some that are just like classic themes. And speaking of classics, this is mostly the newer crew, the next generation of the next generation of actors in these films. However, we do get a special appearance from Megan Donaghy. Why can't I remember her name? Donnelly. Meg Donnelly and Milo Manhattan. No, I don't know. Come on, Milo Manheim. Milo. I was close. Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly from Zombies. They are the main from the original film. According to him. According to Milo, he makes a comment in this that he can't believe that the first Zombies movie came out 8 years ago. Okay, feels longer, but you have to understand that when it comes to the beloved Milo and Meg, everybody grows up, and they have to kind of pass the torch, and that's what they kind of did with Zombies 4. They starred in it, but they really, of course, kind of stepped aside for a new generation of misfit, of creatures that are meant to hate each other, but they find peace and common ground, and basically the prejudices of previous generations come together, and they get set aside to build a better world. So I mean, it's a good message, but whether you like the message or not, it's the kids who are ravenous for this. So you just basically get an hour and 2 minutes of performances of music as adults we may or may not find palatable, but the kids love it. So, man, and they keep cutting to the crowd, and you just see young teens like junior hires all the way down to like 5 year olds that are just like a little overwhelmed. That technically, for a lot of them, and again, Milo, I think Milo makes this comment, or one of the other guys, I think maybe Malachi Barton, they make a comment that when they ask whose first concert is this, and it's a good portion. So you basically see when they cut to the crowd every so often, just showing kids losing their minds, and they're wearing their earplugs because it's loud, but mom or dad or both are sitting right there along with them, some singing along. I saw at least one dad that was just like just trying to figure out exactly what is going on, because there's like a when you're dealing with the Descendants, they're the bad guys but the heroes. They're the anti-heroes of the series. They come from a place where they're the children of the villains, and they weren't raised well, let's just say that. And when they learn that there's opportunities elsewhere, and they make friends with the good guys, even though they really do not like them at their core, once they realize that they have opportunities in a life that isn't necessarily one that should be evil, they change. But there's some songs early on for some of these characters before they discover this new life. They're rotten to the core. There's one song that's rotten to the core. Kylie Cantrell is one girl. She plays Red. She sings this song, and I could just the one dad I could feel just was looking at her like, what is she? She's rotten to the core. Why is she singing that she's a horrible person? Why is this very attractive young woman that I've taken my daughter to see sing, saying that she's a bad guy? Yeah. So, but there's other parents that are singing right along, dads singing right along with their 6-year-old or whatever, and you could tell that they spent time. The kids playing the movie over and over, the movies over and over and over again, and the parents sometimes sit along with them, and they even get to sing along with them, and they know the songs too, and that is super cute. I mean, the kids, adorable, just losing their minds. Some of them are just in awe, and some of them are just singing along with every single word, and that's just fun to see. They're sitting inside arenas, packed out arenas. I believe the footage is from multiple different arenas, because the layout seemed to change throughout. Now, there's one sequence in here, and I don't know if they're still doing this tour, but be aware that at one point, Milo and Megan, who, again, king and queen of this whole zombies thing especially, I don't think they got the veterans of the Descendants. They've kind of moved on. One has passed away, I believe. But there's a whole other thing. But the next generation of all these cast members are there, and they're singing. They're performing. It must have been in their contract when they got hired that they're going to do a tour to promote the movies. Because, hey, it's hard enough, just trying to get a new franchise started. But taking over for characters that everybody really loves, well, you got to endear yourself to these kids, because they're going to grow up with you. And as many of them did with Meg and Milo. And there's a moment where Meg and Milo show up on the screen like, hey, well, it's great to see you all here. Like they're there, like they're talking to the audience and acting like they can see them. And it's so great to see everybody here. They're just having so much fun. And there's some people dressed as cheerleaders and zombies, and woohoo, that's great. And then they start to sing one of their most famous songs, and they're like, well, let's give it to the new kids to sing. And then the kids spoiler, the kids go, wait, this doesn't feel right. Why don't we get, if everybody gets loud enough, maybe Meg and Milo will show up, and they do. I have a feeling that's just one show. I don't think Meg and Milo toured with the entire thing. I could be completely wrong. If you went and saw this with your kids and you're like, Meg and Milo showed up, awesome. That's awesome. But I have a feeling that was like a special episode that was maybe in LA or something, and they were like, okay, we're going to come out and we're going to sing our song for the audience live. So I would not expect that to happen on every stop on the tour. Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. I really doubt that they're going to show up for that entire thing to sing 3 minutes of music. So I don't know. You never know. I'm sure you can get paid less for doing more. So. But yeah, this is probably not going to endear anybody new to this. You're going to be a fan of either one or both of these movie franchises. And yeah, if you haven't watched it, your kids aren't watching me. So if your kids suddenly start putting on this concert on a loop and it cuts in and out between talking about how they all started, they grew up with Disney, and then suddenly going into a song, well, it's not, they're not changing channels. It's just, that's the show that we're getting here. So when they say, hey, I want to go see this concert, and they're 5 and they've never been to a concert before, well, this is meant to sell that to them. So be aware. Be aware. You might be shelling out money for tickets and earplugs real soon. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 89. 89 is... Okay. This is, I think, an A&E thing. There's a number of different networks that Disney Plus is pulling from. Special shows. And there's some that I was like, this is redundant. Like there's 5 different versions of Fixer Upper. And so we kind of... I'll watch one episode of one of those shows and mention the others. I don't need to see 5 different versions. People talk about Shiplap. It's fine. But there's other things on here that I try to stay away from doing A&E and doing history and doing Lifetime and all those things. I want this to be more Disney, especially when these things are mostly like reality shows. So I did make some exceptions, things that sounded interesting. And this sounded interesting to me. I'm going to watch one episode. It's called The Game Show Show. I think it's just a history or story about game shows. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's... The history stuff I definitely want to pull on just to include in this series. Even if it's not just National Geographic stuff. But yeah, it's... Because the history stuff is interesting to me, especially pop culture things. If this is all about the history of game shows, I'm in. I grew up with Price is Right too when I was sick home from school. So yeah. Oh, I hope they don't talk about the Price is Right because there's not a lot of good stuff to say about Bob Barker, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll see. The Game Show Show is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.